Are you feeling stuck with the limitation of a monolith application? It might be the time to give microservices a chance. Let's try. Imagine building applications that are more scalable, flexible, and resilient. Each part of your app can evolve independently and handle the traffic spikes like a pro. In-depth deep dive of this particular video will break what microservices are, why they are changing the game for the developers, how to get started with the Spring Boot and Spring Cloud, and when it is the right time to make the shift. Whether you are just diving into the microservices or looking to level up, this guide has got you covered. Let's jump into the video and explore how microservices can transform your development journey and process. So make sure you watch this video till the end because I'm going to explain the many questions like many developer has. So the very first thing we'll look into the breakdown of what exactly this video will provide you. So I was going to discuss what are the microservices, why microservices, where are the microservices used, how to build the microservices, and when to use the microservices. Please stay back and watch the video till the end. Now, when we say what are microservices, now it is one of the architectural style, a design style where your application is structured in such a way that is, it's a collection of loosely coupled applications, and it is also independently deployed services. So each of these services is responsible for single business functions. Okay, so it will have its own data management thing, it's in communication with other systems over the services. So there is a standard process which is going to follow. Let's say you are using HTTP or REST, any other message broker platform. So this is how we make use of it. Okay, so that's where microservices are part of. Now we'll discuss what are the key characteristic of microservices. The very first thing is decentralized data management. Now each microservices has got its own database or the storage system. Now you have to promote the autonomy, and it will also reduce your dependencies. So that is the benefit when it comes to decentralized data management. Now, independent deployment. Now, microservices can be deployed, tested, and developed, tested, and deployed and scaled independently. Okay, so you are not independently, or you are not doing it for the sake of just doing it. So it will be developed, it will be tested and deployed, and it will be scaled independently. So that's the benefit. So, inter-service communication. Now we have microservices which are going to communicate with many other things using the API. So either you are using a RESTful API or using the synchronous communication messaging, that is like broker like Kafka and other things. We can make use of it. Now there is a failure isolation. So a failure in one services does not necessarily has to impact or bring down the entire application, right? So with proper failure handling mechanism in place, you should be able to hand this or able to mitigate this. Now each microservices can be built using different programming languages. Now there will be different frameworks, there will be different database. Now based on your requirement of the projects or the work you are doing, you can make use of it. Okay. Now the next section, what we are going to look into this, why microservices. Now microservices is going to provide several benefits. Along with them, it also has got many challenges as well. The reason for adopting or choosing the microservices is going to be revolving around, you should have your application to be scaled up, you want your application to be flexible, you want your application to be resilient, because your whole application is part of the large system. So you should neither design a system which is not scalable, flexible, or resilient. So you should have all these particular features, so then only you will be able to scale your application, you mitigate your any failures and other things. So we'll look into the benefits one by one. So when you say scalability, right? So microservices can be scaled independently. Now, if you have a particular service which require more resources, so what you can do, it can be scaled out without impacting the other services, right? So that's what the scalable should be. Now we'll look into the flexibility. Now there are different teams which are going to use different technologies. They're going to use different databases, which is suitable for their specific application need or the services. So you should have that flexibility when you're designing the microservices. Faster to the market. So when you are developing a microservices, it should be independently developed, it should be independently tested, it should be independently deployed. So this, there should be a team who is going to work on this particular services in parallel. Their team which is going, it will reduce your time to take it to the build and then release the feature. So it will be very quick. So that's the benefit. Now resilience, microservices will actually help isolate failure. So when you're designing microservices, you should handle the failures. So if one service is failing, it should not necessarily bring down your entire application down. Okay, so there should be a mechanism to support the reliability. So you should improve your system reliability. Now, continuous deployment. Now, microservice architecture supports continuous deployment, that is CI/CD pipelines. Okay, so it is going to make ensure your application is deployed in a easy way, and you have a release code very frequently, which is easy. Team autonomy. Now, microservice is going to support a decentralized development process. So each team is going to have their own individual services. They are going to work independently. They're going to manage their deployment independently without other teams to be coordinated. So that's the benefit actually. Now let us look at the challenges what microservices has. Now we discussed earlier why we need to microservices, but now we'll discuss the challenges. Now the very first thing is complexity. Now, when you are managing your application, let's say the large application, you have large number of services. So it becomes very complex, especially when you're dealing with somewhere, trying to intercommunicate, right? The services between them, you're trying to monitor them, and there are some error handling which you need to handle it. So this is quite a complex system. That is where, the challenges comes. Data consistency. Now we are with a monolith, right? It is different to that, where you can easily maintain the data consistency across your components. Now ensuring that your data is in the microservices more complicated. Eventually there will should be a eventually the consistency should be maintained, that the distributed transaction should be maintained, right? So in microservice it is a little bit difficult. Overhead. Now, the need of a service discoveries pattern, the API gateway, and the communication between the services, they are going to add an additional operational complexity, right? So, this is are all the overhead which is going to be created when it comes with the microservices. So, these are the challenges. Now, when you're trying to deploy or monitoring your application, so microservice is going to require some advanced tools for deployment. You have shared monitoring or logging. So, managing a deployment of many services can be a difficult, very difficult task. So, there has to be a proper automation and the monitoring system in place to take care of that part. I hope these challenges are clear. Now we'll discuss where are the microservices used. Okay, so when you are choosing microservices, it should be suitable for the large application, complex application, and that application which need to be scaled, evolved, and operate reliably in the distributed system. So typically, we are going to include like all this particular complexity application, large application, and where you need to save scale it, right? So that's where we will use the microservices. Now we'll discuss one by one. So when you say large application, so when your application grows beyond a certain size or a certain limit, so it is going to be very challenging to maintain and scale your monolith architecture. So definitely microservice is going to allow your team to manage the complexity by splitting your application into a manageable services. Okay, now there are some frequent changes which does in your application. So if your application require a frequent update or a changes, so microservice is the best way, which is going to allow you for a more rapid iteration. So new features can be added to the services without impacting any other rest of the systems or any other rest of the services. Okay, scalability requirement. Now our applications are designed, and applications are with a various workload across the different system or a services, etc. You'll have a, let's say, heavy traffic on one module, low traffic on other module. So the benefit is that the microservices, so each services can be scaled up independently when the resource is having a load on it. Okay, Now, multi-team collaboration. So, large team of an organization that needs to work on a different platform or a part of the application independently can make use of the microservices. So, the team going to work independently, autonomously on a different services, and the speed of the development is going to be very dynamic. So, that's the benefit. Now, when it comes to cloud native applications, so microservices are natural fit for the cloud-based application environment. So, because of this, it is very much well aligned and with the concept of containerization or orchestration. So, we can make use of the Kubernetes. So, that is one of the benefits. There are common industries using microservices. So there are e-commerce applications which are using, so large e-commerce application platforms which are complexly features like user management is there, payment processing is there, inventory is there. Now they are often broken down into this microservices only, right? Now we have finance. Okay, so application like banking, finance tech companies are using microservices for managing their independent services or financial services. So it can include transaction, it can include user accounts, it can include reports. Okay, next comes healthcare. So microservices are used in for managing the health tech platforms to handle the separate domains like patients are there, patient records, appointments, scheduling the prescription and etc. Right. So these are all used up in that way. Social media. Now microservices are having the large social platforms. You must have already known, right? So there are different profiles needs to be taken care, feeds, messaging that has to be taken care at the scale. Okay, so that's now we'll look into how we can build the microservices. Now building a microservice is going to involve very several steps in the complex step. You need to understand the architecture, you need to understand the tools used, and also you need to understand the framework which these are used in that particular ecosystem. Now we'll discuss one by one. Okay, the very first thing is that we need to identify the service boundary. Okay, so when you're converting your monolith application to a microservices, this is the very first thing we need to identify your services. Okay, so it's a domain driven uh, design which is going to identify a bounded context, the areas where your business logic is encapsulated. Okay, so that you have to break down. So you have break down the application into a smaller and independent and a cohesive service based on a business capabilities only. You have to design that. Okay, that is one thing. Now next comes is you need to choose the technology. So Spring Boot is one of the most popular framework for building the microservices when it comes to using along with the Java. So it has got built-in features like embedded server is there, auto configuration is there. It's got various integration with the other cloud, right? Rapid development tools are given to it. So we can make use of Spring Cloud for some additional microservice capabilities. Let's say you want to have service discovery, you want to have configuration management, you want to handle the fault tolerance. Okay, so this where you can make use of it. Now, when you are dealing with the microservice communication, right? So most of the microservices are going to communicate using the REST endpoints API, or you can make use of the message queue. So, for let's say for asynchronous communication, we are going to consider making use of the RabbitMQ, or we have Kafka, or any other ActiveMQ. So, this is where we make use of it. Now we are implementing the API gateway. Now this is when you're using API gateway, let's say if Spring Cloud gateway is there or Azure, which is the old one, we need to provide a single point entry for all the client who is going to access your services. So it might route the request, it might handle your load balancing, it might handle your security. So all of these are taken care in the API gateway. Now you need to handle your, I would say, these things, right? So you need to manage it. Okay, so when you're using the centralized configuration, we can make use of the microservices. So we CI/CD pipeline. Now when you are using with this particular CI/CD pipeline, so we can make use of the Jenkins, we can make use of the GitHub, GitLab, or Circle CI to automate your testing of the deployment of services. Containerization. Now when you each microservices when we are going to use, We can make use of the Docker so that we ensure that portability and also the deployment process is easy across different environments. Okay, so we can make use of the Kubernetes for orchestration and scaling. Okay. Now we'll discuss when to use the microservices. When should you consider those, right? So first thing is we need to know, when you are dealing with the growth and the complexity. So if your application is growing and your application is become much more complex, in that case your application might need microservices. So it's a very good fit for that, and it allow you to have your application as a scalable and the maintainability, right? Then we have frequent releases. Now, if your team is need to release some features on a frequent basis and independently, microservices serves as the best fit. It is going to allow you for the faster deployment with a smaller and the focused changes. Scalability requirement. Now, if you are different part of your application have a different scaling needs, like let's say you have a payment processing which might need a different more resources than the inventory management. Now, microservice is going to provide you an ability to scale your services independently whenever the resource is required. Now, distributed system. Now, when you have distributed team, now when you have a multiple teams working on a different part of your system, microservices allow you to develop independently, deploy it, testing it, and the deployment cycle is quite fast. Okay, so team can work in a distributed manner. Now we'll look into when you should avoid microservices. Okay, so when you small application, we have a small application, so your small application will have limited resources and limited features, so monolith approaches might be a best suitable because it is going to be easy to maintain. Okay, now let's say you have lack of resources. Okay, the microservice application is very sophisticated tools are required, at the and processing, so it will require a service discovery, monitoring services, orchestration. Now if your team has doesn't have lack of that particular experience or the resources, so starting with microservices can lead to a complexity or unnecessary complexity where you are dealing with, right? So make sure you don't do that mistake. Now, tightly coupled system. Now, if your application or a services are highly interdependent, okay, now you're splitting them into different services, so it's going to add up a more complexity unnecessarily. Okay, so make sure you doesn't do this mistake. Now we'll sum up what we have discussed. So when it comes to application, right, you have a large application, right? You should choose in that way. Your application is large, you should a complex application, so that needs scalability, resilient, and the flexibility. Then only you should choose microservices. So your development will be quite fast. You can have time to scale, go to the market, support independent scaling. So these are the important things. Okay, so you need to consider the challenges, the services, communication, data consistency, and the deployment complexity. So make sure you do that decision and does that. I hope this video was very helpful to you, and it brought in some insights like what microservices are, how, when, and where to use it. Okay. If this video was helpful, please share it with the needy people. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, and also share it with the needy people.